Okay, today we are going to study the ISO cost line. Yesterday we were talking about ISO Kant curve that was telling us the level of output produced by different combinations of inputs, that is labor and capital. So when there are different combinations of labor and capital, how much output they are going to produce, that remain constant along one ISO Kant curve. Now ISO Kant was only telling us the total output produced by the two inputs. It does not tell us about their relative prices of inputs, like what is the wage rate, what is the rate of interest, which is going to be incurred by the producer in order to produce that level of output. Okay. So cost means what? Cost means expenditures on the production of goods and services. So how producer is going to incur the expenditure? The number of workers he is going to employ in the production of that level of output, and the number of capital units he is going to employ. So in case of workers, he has to bear the wage bill, and in case of capital, he has to bear interest rate to be paid to the lender of that capital. Clear? So ISO means what? Equal. Cost means expenditure on the production of goods, or it is expenditure on the inputs which are going to be employed by the producer. Clear? So ISO cost line will tell us the different combinations of labor and capital which will have the same cost of production. What does it tell? It shows different combinations of labor and capital, which will have the same cost of production, same total cost of production. All right, cost of production. So this is a line which gives us different combinations of inputs, in our case labor and capital, which have the same cost of production for the producer. Now, what are those combinations which can be drawn in the form of ISO cost line? I write over here cost is equal to, cost means this is, I will denote it by C. Now it is equal to wages multiplied by number of workers employed plus rate of interest multiplied by the capital employed. So the total cost equation, that is the expenditure on workers, which is called the wage bill of the producer, plus how much interest this firm has to bear in order to employ the capital in the production process. This is called cost equation of the producer. Now how do we write the ISO cost line from this equation? Now see, if capital is not employed by the producer, he is not employing even a single unit of capital, then whole cost of production will be equal to what? W into L.
Yes.
So how many workers he will employ, that we can find. L can be C over W. Clear? Here I am taking this thing. Here I am taking labor and capital. This is labor and this is what? Capital, or we denote it by K, and here it is noted by L. So when capital is 0, this is the C over W point. When nothing of capital unit is employed, all the workers are employed, so this will be the point which is called the horizontal intercept of ISO cost line. What it is? Horizontal intercept. This is horizontal intercept of isocost line. Clear? Now on the other extreme, if producer is not applying labor, like labor is 0, then all cost will be equal to R into K. How much capital he will be able to employ? K will be equal to C over R. This is the vertical intercept. What it is? Vertical intercept of isocost line. So this is what C over R. Clear? This is point C over R. We have found two extreme points. Please be attentive now. This is point when nothing of capital is employed, all the workers are employed. Clear? And this is a point when nothing of labor is employed, only capital is employed. So there are different combinations which will be available in between these 2 points. If we join these 2 points, what it is? This is the isocost line. Follow the point? It is same like we had drawn the budget line for the consumer. So here it is called the isocost line for the producer because now he is employing labor and capital in the production process. Alright. So any point along this cost line will have the same total cost of production. Either firm adopts this combination or this combination. At this point we can say at X what is happening? More capital is employed and less labor is there, but total cost will remain same even the producer is employing more labor and less capital at point Y. So all the points along this isocost line, they are equally affordable by the producer within given wage rate and the rate of interest of capital. Clear? Yes. Any point above this cost line cannot be afforded by the producer. He has to increase his total cost otherwise. Follow? This is what isocost line. Now let me know, is it downward sloping? No? Yes. If we increase labor, downward slope, when I talk about downward sloping of the 2 variables, it tells us if one is increasing, another is decreasing. How can I say this is downward sloping? Look here. If I increase labor, I have to decrease capital. Downward sloping means what? Downward sloping means what? If producer increases labor, he has to decrease capital and vice versa. If he increases capital, he has to decrease labor. So both quantities of labor and capital, they move in opposite direction. Clear or not? Now, what can be the slope of this isocost line? Mathematicians, those who are taking maths, can they be able to find the slope or gradient of this line?
Change in capital, change in
Labor, what will be? This is rising part, this is running part. C over R divided by C over W. Find it yourself, you can do it. The slope of isocost line is change in capital due to change in labor. If firm wants to increase labor by an extra unit, how many units of capital will be given up? This is the meaning of slope. Kya meaning hai? If firm wants to increase labor by one extra worker, how many units of capital will be given up? Okay? Now we can find it is downward sloping. I have put negative sign with this. Now rising part, this point C over R divided by C over W. This is what? C over R. Now this is a double division. How can we solve this double division? C over R divided by C over W. Reciprocal होगा. So here C over R multiplied by W over C. So C is cancelled out. What is this? W over R. If you write over here changing K over changing L, find here, please be attentive. Wages and labor are inversely related. Wage is the price of labor. R is the rate of interest, which is price of capital. So if wages will increase, there will be less number of workers employed by the producer, and if rate of interest increases, less capital will be there.
सर अगर wage increase होगा तो less क्यों labor है?
Expensive हो जाएगी ना, he will move towards capital. If any factor of production is becoming expensive, he will choose the other one, which is relatively low price. Because labor and capital are substitutable. They can be substituted with each other due to the changes in their relative prices. Clear? So demand is what? Demand shows price and quantity are inversely related. So this is the price of labor. These are the number of workers. So they are also inversely related in our law of demand. Follow my point? So this is the slope. What is the slope now? This is the relative price ratio of the isocost line. It is downward sloping or negatively sloping. In order to increase the workers, the producer has to decrease what? The capital. Or other way around is what? If he wants to increase capital, he has to decrease labor in the cost of production. Alright. Now I am going to show you different shifts of pivotal shift and parallel shifts of this isocost line. Clear? Now see, like the budget line we had studied in our consumer behavior. Do you remember the budget line? Remember or not? Okay. When I said there is decrease in price of X, what happens to the budget line? It will rotate outward. So same is the case over here. When wages are going to decrease, this isocost line will have outward rotation. Why? Why this is happening, Alvina? This is what? Minus W over R. So when wages are decreasing, its slope will decrease because numerator is falling now. It will have a flatter slope now. It will become flatter. So when wages are falling, the producer will be able to hire more number of workers within the same cost bill. For example, he has estimated total cost of 300,000, okay, for the whole production. So when wages are decreasing, he is able to have more number of workers within those 300,000. Clear? So when wages are going to increase, what happens? You can wages fall, isocost line will rotate outward, or there is pivotal outward rotation, and when wages increase, what happens? When wages increase, isocost line will have pivotal inward shift. Clear? This is I am talking about how isocost line is changing its slope due to change in labor wages. Clear? Now if there is change in rate of interest of capital, what happens? Then there will be pivotal shift from the vertical side. For example, if I say here I am taking labor and capital, if rate of interest increases, R increases, less capital units will be employed by the producer, then this isocost line will have inward rotation. Clear? It will become flatter now because rate of interest has increased, so producer will hire less number of capital units in his production unit in order to have the cost of production. The total cost will remain same. Now if rate of interest decreases, what happens? Let me know. If rate of interest decreases, R is now decreasing, it will have pivotal outward rotation to this level. Clear? So what is my point of understanding over here? when the relative prices of labor and capital are going to change, there will be change in the slope of isocost line. Like if wages are going to change, there is pivotal shift from the horizontal side, and when there is change in the rate of interest, there is pivotal shift from the vertical side. Alright or no? Now if producer has increased his total cost bill, like previously he was having 300,000 rupees per day cost bill. So if he wants to produce more output and total cost he has increased, so what happens to isocost line? It will have parallel rightward shift. So when cost increases, so what happens? Labor and capital, previously this was isocost line. So due to increase in overall cost of production, there is parallel rightward shift. Here, slope of isocost line hasn't changed. Why? What is the reason? Because wages and interest rate, they haven't changed. Only the producer has increased the number of workers employed and the number of capital units employed. Because he wants to produce more, so he employs more workers and more capital. Then the cost line will have parallel outward shift. And if cost of production decreases for the producer, then this isocost line will have parallel downward shift. If he produces less, then he will employ less workers and less capital will be there. Alright? But this is about cost line. So does it tell us which level of number of workers and capital units will be employed by the producer in order to minimize his per unit cost of production? Because his aim is to reduce the per unit cost of production. My question is, which one is the least combination of labor and capital which will minimize his cost of production while he is producing 300 units of output by his isocount? So can I draw the last thing over here, the least cost combination? Which is the least cost combination? आपने बजट लाइन में क्या प्रूव पढ़ा था? When budget line is tangent to indifference curve, so same condition we will employ over here in the production process. Now, what is the least cost combination of labor? Least cost combination of labor and capital. What it is? It is the point of tangency between the isocost line and the isocount curve. This is isocount. Alright? The level of output was fixed or constant, which was shown by the isocount curve, and isocount was not telling us anything about the relative prices of labor and capital. And this thing, isocost line, is telling us the relative prices of labor and capital. So the point of tangency, where the isocost line is making a tangency condition with the highest isocount curve, that combination of labor and capital will be the optimum number of workers and capital employed, where per unit cost of production of the producer will be minimized, or we say this is the least cost combination. For example, he is hiring 10 workers and 4 machines. At this level of combination of labor and capital, he is able to produce 300 units of output, where his cost of production will be minimum. So what is happening at this equilibrium? The slope of isocount is equal to the slope of isocost line. Can I write in this way? Change in capital over change in labor is equal to, what is the slope of isocount we studied yesterday? Marginal divided by marginal physical product of capital should equal to minus W over R. We studied right now. This is what the slope of isopont curve, and this is the slope of isocost line. So minus sign is cancelled out. So their marginal productivity ratio should equal to their price ratio. Okay, if I rearrange it or cross multiply it, marginal physical product of labor over wages should equal to marginal physical product of capital over rate of interest. Over the rate of interest. That each dollar employed in labor and capital will have equal marginal physical product. Clear? So this combination where isocost line is making a tangency condition with the isopont curve, that is the least cost combination. I would rather say this is the point where average total cost of production of the producer is minimized. You studied this thing, the productive efficiency point where per unit cost of production is minimized. So this least cost combination of labor capital can be shown by average cost line where average cost of production is minimized. So we say these two tools like isocost and isopont curve both will give us that combination of labor and capital which will make the producer to have the least cost combination of labor and capital, whereas per unit cost of production is minimized, and then he will be able to maximize the profit. Clear? That's all for today.